Hello, everyone, and welcome to this next chapter of Open Book Black Excellence. I'm Sarah Vetter from the library's community engagement team, and it's my great pleasure to welcome our interviewee today, Joe Wars. Joe, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So let's start with a little bit of background on you, Joe, some of the work you've done, and tell us how you ended up in Elgin.
It's a strange story as to how I got to Elgin. I had to come out to Chicago and do some work and to look around. I was in the city, and everywhere you went, somebody was begging and pleading and this, that, and the other, and went to other areas that I didn't necessarily like. And I came out to Elgin. I was a grocery store here in Elgin. It was a very popular grocery store, Gromer's Supermarket. And I had to go out to Gromer's to do some work. And I was amazed. Gromer's had an honor system, you had free coffee. And what would happen, customers would come in, he had a table and free coffee, and on that table he had like cupcakes and candy bars and nabs, and if you wanted to buy a donut, you just took the donut, you threw the quarter or 50 cents or whatever over in the cigar box. It was all an honor system. Mm-hmm. And people were walking around and people were saying to, "Hey, John, I saw your grandson last night. He played an excellent game." And somebody else said, "Oh, I'll see you at church tomorrow," and blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what, this is a great town. I need to find somewhere to live. So I left Gromer's and went down the street to the real estate office and said, "Hey, show me some houses." And that was in 1976 with the intention I was going to be here maybe for a year or two. And when the opportunity came for another promotion, my wife and daughter said, "Well, you know what? I hope you can find a nice apartment down there, because I'm not moving to Kentucky. We're going to stay here." So here we are, very happy being here. And, Elgin is a great community to get involved with. And, when I was in Virginia, I was heavily involved with the JCs. So one of the first things I did when I got here, I joined the Elgin JCs, met a lot of great people, and got involved in the community.
And one of the ways, here you are, and we're the lucky ones to have you here with us. And I know we've partnered with you on the Martin Luther King Jr. food drive that's been at the library. So tell us how you got involved in that.
Well, I served on the Elgin's Human Relations Commission for a number of years, and the Dr. King Weekend Celebration is a function of the Human Relations Commission. And at one point, we basically just had a Sunday afternoon program. So about 10 or 12 years ago, we decided, maybe we should take a different route. There were a lot of other communities that were doing, the Sunday program, and people were saying, you know what, it's like being in church all day long. So we decided, okay, let's do some other things. So we created a youth program and the Dr. King food drive, and also started placing more emphasis on the scholarship program that goes on with that. So we're looking for somebody to do the food drive. Oh, I raised my hand.
So they knew they had you then.
Yeah,
there's something about, isn't there, when you're seeing people get food who really, really need it, and you see what a difference it can make in their life.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a little story. This happened when I was in Virginia. We would do food drives and what have you through the JCs. And I never forget this. One Thanksgiving, we were doing Thanksgiving baskets, and went to this lady's house to deliver a basket. Knocked on the door, nobody answered. knocked a couple more times and nobody answered. So I was walking back to the truck and the door opened behind me. So I went back, naturally identified myself, and this lady was probably 80, 85 years of age. She gave me the biggest hug I've ever had in my life, I think. And she told me, she said, young man, let me tell you something. Don't you ever let anybody convince you that there's not a God. I heard you when you knocked on the door the first time. I was on my knees praying, asking for some help. I do not have one drop of food in this house, you know. So from then on, anytime somebody did food drive, you know, hey, I'll do it.
You're like, hey,
yeah.
pick me.
And you're right, sir. I mean, it's a great relief to see somebody benefit, you know, from something like that. And well, you know, I mean, you know, in the library, the food drives, not only is it a fun thing, it's a rewarding thing, but at the same time, it's not something that you have to put a hard sell on people to get involved with. I mean, the library came, you know, when they heard that we were doing it, the library raised its hand and said, hey, let us, you know, let us be a part of it, right? You know, and,
We're in too.
right. And we appreciate you know, what you guys have done to, you know, to assist. And we hope it has been a benefit, you know, to the library as well.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be there. As long as you keep coming, Joe, we'll be there too.
As long as you stay there, I'll keep coming back, okay?
All right.
As long as you say yes.
Deal.
Yes, that's the deal.
So let's move into the questions that we have for you today. And the first one, and we've asked all the folks we've interviewed for Open Book, what does excellence mean to you personally?
Well, you know what? I think excellence really is a goal. And the goal, I think, is to do the very, very best that you can do. It's one of those situations that some people are very, very talented in education. Some are very talented in human relations. Some are, you know, talented in the work skills. It doesn't really matter. And none of that matters if you don't put forth the very, very best effort, you know. And I think it's a goal you have to set within yourself to say, hey, I can do it. I'm going to do it. Nothing's going to stop me from doing it. And as long as you take that attitude, I think that you will achieve excellence. You might not get, you know, you might might not get to the point that you're making $500,000 a year, you know. But if you have 450, what the heck, right? So no, I think it's a goal, and I think you have to really, you know, I think you have to reach out, you know, to try to do the very best you can, because if you don't, you know who is really.
That's just it. So it's showing up. It's being there. It's bringing the best to whatever you do.
It is. That's right. Whatever you do, and I think that's the key to it, because I mean, you know, there's excellence in family, there's excellence in job, there's excellence in life in general, you know. And you mentioned the food drive, you know, there's excellence in community involvement. I think it's the excellence in community involvement that landed me here in Elgin. As I mentioned, you know, people were saying, you know, good things about each other and acting decent and being human beings. So that I think has a lot, you know, to do with excellence. And it's an influence too. I mean, you know, it's like, if people see you doing your very best, you know, hopefully you will influence them to do better in life, you know. So
absolutely, we inspire others, right? Through what we do. And speaking of that, what must be done to encourage excellence, not only in ourselves, but in others as well?
Again, I think it goes back to attitude. I think it goes back to reach out and lending a helping hand when you can. I think it's trying to help others to overcome any obstacles that they might be facing in life, whether it's a racial situation or it's a financial situation or it's a sexual orientation situation, whatever obstacle a person is facing, I think you really need to have a plan to overcome that obstacle, and you have to keep working and keep working and keep driving, to make it happen. My dad used to tell me all the time, he would say, let me tell you something, son. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you cannot, you're right. It's whatever you think, it's how you set your mind as to what you want to achieve and where you want to go in life. I think that's the driving force. And I think we have to encourage that, not only with our young people, we have to encourage that, with our next door neighbors, with everybody, hey, do the best you can to make the world a better place.
And you sure do that here in Elgin, Joe. And like you said, then somebody that you help might pay it forward when they get their footing. They might
Absolutely.
look to, wow, Joe or someone in the community or some group helped me out, and now I want to give something back too.
That is quite true. And I'm sure you heard the old saying, that you shouldn't climb the mountain so that the world can see you climb the mountain. You should climb the mountain so you can see the world. So that's what you have to do. You just have to keep climbing and keep trying and keep encouraging other people to join you in that fight.
Love that. Great words. And finally, Joe, what can we all do to promote excellence?
I think the one thing that we can do to promote excellence is encouragement. I don't think there's anything better than encouragement. I mentioned the JCs, and one thing I learned through the JCs that what a little bit of encouragement would do. The JCs in the chapter that I joined back in Roanoke, Virginia, was a chapter that believed, hey, if you gave me a lollipop, give you a certificate. If you gave us $1,000, give you a certificate. Recognize that person, encourage that person, and let them know that you appreciate, what they're doing, and don't hesitate. Don't be afraid to tell them that what they have done is going to make this world a better place. It's all about make this world a better place. That's what it's all about. I think if you can make the world a better place, you can make yourself a better person, and I think that all has to do with excellence.
Good afternoon and welcome to Open Book Black Excellence. It is our series from the Gale Borden Public Library celebrating the achievements of the Black community members here in our library district and in Elgin. Today we have Janice Hare, who has either chaired or co-chaired the City of Elgin's Martin Luther King Jr. celebration for many years. Janice, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you became involved in the MLK celebration?
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Janice Hare, and I too am a mother, an educator, a community advocate, and I volunteer on several different committees in the city of Elgin. The YWCA, I sit as chairperson or chair member. For the Elgin Police Department, I sit on the reentry committee for reentries of ex-felons that return back into society. How can we help them to meet their needs? I'm also a mentor and a success coach for YLA, which is Youth Leadership Academy, which is housed in Elgin Community College. And I currently have 4 college degrees. I'm on my 5th one, my doctorate in public administration and leadership. I've been working at Elgin Community College for 19 years. I found a passion of community involvement by volunteering on the Martin Luther King prayer breakfast celebration for, well, it had to be about 17, 18 years. I enjoy it. I like working with others. We have a great team each year, and we produce a very wonderful and exciting program for the community and surrounding suburbs.
That's wonderful. You certainly are very involved. If there was a Miss Elgin Community Action Award, you would certainly get it. Let's
Thank
start
you.
by talking about Martin Luther King himself before we get into our questions about excellence. You can't be old enough to have remembered MLK, but I'm just going to assume maybe. Do you have any childhood memories of what MLK meant to you and your family or your friends?
Absolutely. Growing up in a two-parent home and being first generation of a college student of a sibling out of 9 children, I had the opportunity to have parents that shared values and morals in the household. And one of the values were learning how to love one another. And as an example, my parents spoke a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King and his followers. He was a great leader in our society, and we grew up knowing that. And as I continued on to high school and to college, I learned a lot more. And each year, I seemed to learn more and more about Dr. King and his way of being a leader in different communities and always standing for justice, equality, and nonviolence. We take to hold some things in our hand the wrong way. So leaning back on his words of inspiration that hatred don't rule hatred, we have to look at it at the other eye, being positive, being a great influencer of others, setting an example. So that's what Dr. King has instilled in my life, to be an example to others in a positive way.
That's wonderful. And we all know we need positive examples in this day and age. And that's why we are interviewing you, among others. What does excellence mean to you personally?
Well, first of all, excellence does mean doing things in a positive way and to being a great influencer on others. So as I look at the word excellent, it helps me to address issues, disagreements, misunderstanding in a very positive way, not leaning towards it should have been, or why isn't it that way? No, let's see what other alternatives we have to change that into a positive way and being a great influencer again to others. Standing up and believing in what's right and doing what's right and sharing the right message to others. That's what excellence means to me right now.
What guides you in deciding what is right, what is doing right?
Again, I look back at the teaching of my parents and my siblings. I'm the eighth child of 9 children. So there was a lot of siblings over me. And we had to speak when we were spoken to. We had to do our chores. We had assignments and protocol in our household. We wasn't ones that snatch things or fought with each other. We had to sit down and reason. A lot of times the older siblings would be the mediators to resolve any issues that may occur with me and any of my siblings. And as my siblings, well, sometimes I would be the mediator to say, Mom wouldn't like that if we did this way, and then we had our church values, our faith, and I believe in that we're here for a purpose. We're here for a season. So let's do the right things all the time to make it a better place for you and me.
Well, with 11 people in the household, you certainly had to learn some good mediation skills. Moving on.
Absolutely.
What do you feel must be done to encourage excellence in ourselves and others? So what do you feel must be done to encourage excellence in others and ourselves?
having a positive self look. We have to look at ourselves on how we demonstrate positivity and encouragement and leadership to others, and helping others in promoting excellence and helping to make a difference in their lives. During the time of Dr. Martin Luther King, he faced a lot of challenges. Some he agreed with and some he disagreed with, but never did he take the back road and say, it's got to be my way or no way. He always looked at the ways of doing things in a proactive way of showing and demonstrating positivity and great leadership skills. You know, it couldn't have been a better leader in my time or as of today that we can embark on to say that Dr. King was a man of excellence.
That's certainly true. And my last question, what can we all do to promote excellence? Certainly in the celebration, the MLK celebration, we hand out awards for African-American high school students. We pay tribute to community leaders. So you're definitely a part of promoting excellence just through the celebration itself.
Absolutely, and enjoy each and every moment of it. Again, it's being that influencer. How can you influence others to reach beyond their comfort zone, to step out of their comfort box, to do something that will bring enjoyment, engagement, and again, positivity to others? How can you help change the lives of many that didn't even know Martin Luther King, that very know him just a little bit? How can you continue to be a person that is a welcoming person, you know, not a standoffish person, a person that brings things to the table in a manner that others will listen, and that you and they can work together to help make a change for the better.
Fantastic. And if anybody is interested in seeing this year's MLK celebration, which took place January 15th virtually, we will post a link. It is available on YouTube. It was a wonderful program with a lot of great speakers and dancers and singers. So we invite you all to watch that. In closing, thank you so much, Janice. You are truly an inspiration and a model of excellence. And we thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you. And I'm very proud to be part of the Gail Borden Library family and in the community. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you. And everybody have a great day.